Shalom, Salama, Sviemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile that is grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you this morning. So, interesting video that Brother Yakoba shared yesterday regarding cult leaders. And it's more interesting to know just how our people continue to go for the okey doke. And that's really the quandary that we're in as a people, is that we continue to go for the okey doke, the head fake, the things of that nature. However, when you start to see when the Most High moves, there's a level of authenticity, that's there, and you can tell because you see that there's something that's strange. See, in this system, you see things as they are, and you can see spiritually how things are there for the system. We've seen this time and time again in this awakening. You would have folks, oh, I'm awakened, I've done this, I've done, they would try to do their credentials and then I'm back to Eurocentric Christianity. Well, I'm a prophet now. That's what I told you. I said, listen, don't give me any type of titles. Don't do it. Because, and this is just for me, and I'm not talking about anybody that wants to have their title. That's great. But for me, I don't need a title other than Brother Karras, because I'm your brother. And if I'm a brother, then I'm your family. And if I'm your family, I want to make sure that my family is safe and protected and they see what's happening. I have my own natural brother, and I've explained this thing to him in the past, and not only myself, but also my uncle, who was from South Carolina, who was only about, uh, my grandmother, this is my great uncle, my grandmother used to live, oh, I would say maybe an hour away from Savannah. They were that close on the other side of the South Carolina border. And that was something that you understood back then, even with the limited information that they had. Their information was limited. Unless they could get their hands on like Encyclopedia Britannicas, unless they could literally like go into, Harvard and other, Ivy League universities that would harbor that information, it was very limited. So for that to have occurred, there must have been an oral tradition to it. So when we see how this thing had grown, it wasn't the fact that we were wrong. It was just the fact that we really could not substantiate it at that time. And see, if you can't substantiate it because you have been locked out of the educational system, you've been locked out of JSTOR, you've been locked out of a lot of the academic articles that have written about the subject, then we become, well, it's, I don't believe you. But the problem is, the studies have always been on out there. The books were always on out there. It was just the access to the studies and the access to the books weren't made available until this time, until you've had a subscription to access scholarly reviewed articles, academic journals. And now that we have a great breadth of our people that have been in academia, now that you see Hebrews to Negroes, you see Reclaiming the Throne, you see a lot of academically infused subject matter that is now too much to really handle because it provides the references and the resources that continue to have you dig. See, the point is in researching is once you get through that topical level, then you have to go deeper. You have to. You have to look deeper. You have to continue to move deeper. And you have to do it in the guidance of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Father, is this what you want me to read? Is that what you want me to read? And then you'll see some particular articles, and then you'll start to understand it's skewed for a particular purpose. It's skewed for a particular reason. That's how I found out in this awakening. It was about 2016. I didn't say anything till 2020. I established my channel in 2020. See, I'm telling you that right now, when you're putting all the pieces together, when you're putting all the puzzle pieces together, there is a truth that people don't want to hear. When you know that they put you in this predicament, and you know that it was the Most High that helped to put you in this predicament, then you know that it's going to be the Most High that gets you out of this predicament. And when the Most High gets you out of this predicament, it's going to be a bad day for the folks that enjoy you being in this predicament. It's going to be judgment on this nation that enjoyed having you as a victual. that enjoyed having you in derision. Let's just be honest and put everything out there in the table. They are scared and they're running scared because you all have decided to wake up. We have decided to wake up. And when we wake up, there is literally deadly consequences to them. They know it. They have their bots running around talking to you about everything's fine. Just wake up. You're not people. You're just African Americans. They don't even try to. Do you understand how this thing goes? They don't even try to want to address any type of truth because they can't. That's the definition of the enemy. That's the definition of Hasatan. That's the definition of Satan. It's satanic to do what? To not go over the truth. Because why? Because the truth will set you free. So when you have other countries talking about, do you see this country that's there that doesn't want to go over the truth and it's a satanic country? Well, I'm sorry if people think that that's the pot calling the kettle black. But you tell me when those countries were involved in the transatlantic slave trade. You tell me when those countries are involved in any of the slave trades from Europeans. Now we don't want to touch them. Why? Because we know that your wealth is only temporary. Well, I've had this wealth for 600 years. There ain't no stopping this now. This train isn't going to stop. You see all these weapons that we have. We see all this technology that we have. But they were fools and they relied on their own arm. You can't rely on your own strength when the Most High literally said, here, I'm going to send you to these nations. Because these nations are what? They're dumb. That's not me. That's what the Most High said. They're a dumb nation. They're a nation devoid of understanding. That's what the word says. Because why? Because they understand that they're not going to realize that when they get destroyed, what they can do to get themselves out of destruction. That's why it says we would have healed Babylon, but she refused to be healed because it's a dumb nation. It's a dumb group of nations. All I know how to do is just maim, murder, torture, and kill. Now you make everything nice for me, and I won't do that to you. This is why they can't understand this. Exactly. The wise men have been destroyed. Because why? Because they are told, "Hey, if these folks are the people, shouldn't we do something about it?" They tell them, "Shut up." But now you literally have a war knocking on the door. Now you have nations that are literally running out of oil and things of that nature. They're trying to survive over there in Europe. Sister Chantel, are you all trying to survive over there in the UK? Are you all trying to make sure that you're having enough heat this winter? Oh, it's starting to get cold, family. And that cold weather is just drifting further and further and further south. And remember, when it gets cold here in America, it's already been cold for like 2, 3 weeks over in Europe because they didn't understand the gameplay. Yeah, extra duvets, extra duvets, because these folks over there, they're freezing. Oh, we're gonna do the bidding of Babylon. Yeah, right. That no, yeah, right. That doesn't work. I've been to Europe a time or two. That doesn't work. When they're literally having to go to Africa and they're on their knees begging African countries to save them. They're begging African countries to save them. And you know what the African countries are saying? That's not my problem. Remember how y'all used to mock us with them feed the children commercials and flies and everything else running all our on our faces because of the things that y'all have done to us? Them leaders are like, yo, enjoy those flies, Mr. Miyagi. It's falling on deaf ears. See, the crazy thing is, how can you even invade a country when you don't have the oil to invade? You don't have the, you don't even have anything there. You don't have enough gas to get the 5 tons to move your troops. That they don't move on solar energy. This is the worst predicament that they have ever put themselves in, and you know that they thought that, well, we're gonna survive this. I don't think they're gonna survive. This is me personally. And you have to understand that there's categories to get to war for my non-military folks, my non-military understood military non-veterans. Let's just put this non-military, non-veteran folks. There's categories to get to war, i.e., if you don't got the resources, you're going to war. If you don't have the bread, look, America's in trouble. We have a grain problem because the gluten that we love in our popular snacks and things of that nature, they can't get them up and down the barges. Oh, and also, you don't have enough truckers. And on top of that, we have a diesel problem. And see, this nation's been accustomed to fighting to ensure that its resources don't run dry. But now there's a problem because now there's a couple of things on the horizon that they never thought was going to be here. They didn't think it was gonna be possible. They thought that it was going to be status quo all the time. Oh, these Negroes, if they wake up, it doesn't really matter because we could do this, we could do that. No, you can't. Do you understand? They can't do stuff like that anymore because now somebody's watching. I laughed. I was watching a news program a couple of weeks ago, and they had said, "Well, America's going to try and talk to the African countries, to the African nations about resources." I laughed at that. I said they stopped talking to America about resources in 2017. It's yeah, yeah. Everything materialized at this point. You understand why there's literally a supply chain issue. It was economic warfare, and people didn't even understand it was economic warfare. We're in the throes of economic warfare. So right after economic warfare, when that fails, or you are on the receiving end of the negative consequences of it, then there is straight up tactical arms. Supply chain crisis is the result of economic warfare. And y'all wouldn't even understand it. Y'all just be like, "Oh, supply chain issues. Oh, yeah. As long as I get my PS5." But they don't have the power that they used to. You understood that there's literally a terrorist attack in Turkey on a supposed quote unquote NATO country. You can't make this up. You can Google it. You can't make this up. And these terrorists are literally backed by Western countries, by US and other Western countries. So no. Those are your Ottomani's. That's where they all derive from. Those are your Turks. Those are your Europeans. Those are your Ashkenaz. That's all they derive from. It was a northern invasion into the Mesopotamian area. So now you have to understand when and why that attack occurred was all because of Turkey was just trying to remain neutral. I think Turkey's no longer going to remain neutral. I think chances are that the Bosphorus is going to get shut down even more. And then that's going to be a very bad and dramatic increase on grain prices. Do you see how all this stuff is starting to exacerbate things? Because why? Because talk about a emotional reaction. This is all reaction to us waking up. And if this was just a small portion of us that had awakened in 2016, 2017, and 2018, what do you think the reaction is going to be with us that have awoken in these last 3, 4 weeks? Oh, you're awake now? Okay, it's time to go to war. Time to go to war. Oh, it's going to be 2024. Okay. No, it's not, because they know that they can't afford for us to continue to awaken like this. They have to go to war. See, what the Most High was doing, he was actually putting everything in the place. He was putting all the pieces in the place. He was putting all of the intricacies in place. I'm not the Most High, but what he did was something that was so far above our understanding. And then we see it. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. But you have to also remember, see, the more that we have in terms of how we are perceiving things as a people, the more we have to call out on him. See, for those that are here in Babylon, oh, they're not leaving unscathed because why? Because they have to be able to be uncomfortable. When you're beginning to be uncomfortable, then you begin to call out. See, now you're starting to see our people are becoming uncomfortable with the truth. But the truth is going to cause a reaction by folks that want to lie about the truth to go into battle. Then guess what? Now, when you go into war, guess what happens when you go into war? You have a lot less things that are going to be available to you because why? Because they have to go to sustain a wartime environment. Now talk about a very critical supply chain function. If you didn't know, the US is trying to take its business from out of China with all the microchips and everything else. And if you don't understand how that goes in the macroeconomic level, when you are taking away computers or potential uses of computers or potential, I would say, production supply of computers, that's a supply on your cell phones, your laptops, your TVs, your smart cars. So then technology firms that rely on all those, on the programming, on the software, well, guess what happens? They start to get laid off. I'm dealing with these impacts directly. I thank the Most High that I'm not in the position where most folks are at, but I still don't take everything lightly because I could be in a position where I am unemployed. Because I don't believe anything these folks say. Oh no, we're doing good. We're doing good. As they're downsizing, we're gonna be doing good. Okay. I don't believe any of that. And I don't. I Because I know that what's going on is the moment that the first shot is fired, you'll still have the stock market climb, and then you'll still have the stock market. and then people start pulling money. It happens all the time. No, we're gonna it's still there. The money's still there. Well, no, it's not. I told you the money hasn't been there for a while. People are were already liquidating. It's just cooking books. Remember, people are allowed to cook books until the books are quote unquote not palpable anymore. Then there's an investigation and all this other stuff. And my question is, why wouldn't there be an investigation now when you know that the stock market is being rigged? They know because everybody's trying to funnel on out their money in this Ponzi scheme. Because why? Because they're sucking the pockets dry of every American that they can find that believes in the system. Don't you want to contribute to your 401k? I'm like, no, no, because I understand where this thing is going. I understand the trajectory. Oh, you're not going to plan for the future. No, I am planning for the future because this future is this word. And what this word says is happening. And when this word comes to fruition, guess what? My future is not going to be here in this land, nor in this continent, nor in this hemisphere. So they try to gas you on up. Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Wait. Time out. What does this word say? You know, this is for me. This is the biggest investment right here. You want to know how I invest in my heavenly 401k every day with this. This is my biggest investment because why? Because everything is said what? Kings and kingdoms will all pass away. Well, what do you think's going to happen here? Let me explain things in terms of how technology works. Let me explain some things in terms of how they're literally looking at how to parse out this land. They want to have these quantum and supercomputers so they can do what? So they can know exactly who you are. Facial recognition, they're already telling you this. Line up. Are you somebody? Doop. Nope, you're just nobody. You're staying here. Oh, yeah, look at what their profile is. No, you're coming over here. We act as though like nobody in the world knows how to mass transport. If they did it during the transatlantic slave trade with those archaic functions, do you not think that it can happen now and more efficiently? Oh, yes, it can. We listen to the numbers of, oh, when you're passing through Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson Airport, they process up to like, 6 or 7 million people a day. And we're acting like, You can't run nobody through scanners and put them in their little gates to where they're going to and put them in whatever containers that they're gonna have for a 7 or 8 day voyage across the Pacific, across the Atlantic. It don't take very long. We're acting like that's darn near impossible. No, it's possible because that is what the word says. And now technology, technology. See, everybody loves technology when they realize and they figured on out how this technology, excuse me, how this technology wasn't going to benefit them, how this technology was going to lead to their downfall. We just read this. This is in Jeremiah with Nebuchadnezzar. They knew all the people that what? That had a trade or skillcraft or something that was valuable to Babylon. All the other folks that didn't have really much of anything, well, they stayed in the land. Exactly. Exactly. And you're right, Ace of Ben Judah. That's what they thought. It was only going to be for entertainment. Oh, for us, it's going to be cruise ship. Oh, for everybody else, I feel for them. No, but you got to remember, y'all act like it's not coming. It's coming. It's funny. I read the news. I was looking at some of the news reports, especially First Post. These folks, I think they're located somewhere in India, but I like to listen to the commentary, and it's funny because it's like, wow, yep, there it is. It falls in line. It falls right in line, and it was funny because on one of their commentaries, their commentaries had stated that the ultimate goal wasn't Ukraine. The ultimate goal was the US, and it's the US. But we've been saying that. Do you understand what a honeypot is? Do you understand how the Battle of Waterloo was? You have to understand how they play to the sensibilities of the US. Not how they play to the sensibilities of white folks. Give them a story that they want to hear. Oh yeah, do you see that? Do you see you see we're winning? You see this? We're winning. Questions like pull back because who's also been mobilizing troops? A lot of. A lot of folks from China, North Korea, they stay mobilized. They've been mobilized since the 1950s, and Iran. See, we didn't understand the ultimate goal of this. And I'm not going to say we, it's the folks here. They didn't understand the ultimate goal of this. And we've been saying, no, it's going to be here on American soil. It's going to be here on American soil. It's going to be here on American soil. You're right. That's never going to happen. It's going to be here on American soil. Well, they're going to try to stop our exit. How are they going to stop their exodus when this will be military occupied? I know it sounds so far fetched. Well, so did this awakening. It sounded so far fetched. Well, so did people thinking that we were Israelites. All of these things that sound far fetched, they're not far fetched. It's in its word. Sorry. So people generally think that nothing's going to happen. People genuinely think that it's like, oh, it's never going to occur. I never would have seen it coming. Well, nobody ever told us. No, 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 no. See, that's the problem. The Most High is not going to play ignorant, right? We don't get that opportunity. How many of us have still gotten a speeding ticket or, had some sort of an infraction that we had to pay because why? We claimed ignorance. Well, you should have known. It was in the law. It was in this statutory guidance. It was in the city ordinance. You should have known. And now you want to play ignorance? Now you want to claim ignorance? No, see, the fact of the matter is you had the chance. Do you understand? There's a double-edged sword with this because now you understand every single Gentile out there. The Kyrie situation went way beyond Kyrie. It's about a validation of the truth. And I'm going to tell you this, family. They're going to look at the truth and they're going to have two choices to either accept the truth or reject the truth. That's what they're running into. Oh yeah, and I believe that that's all by design because you got to remember there's a group of people that's still going to be behind here. The elites want to still have some sort of control, but they know that their control will only be limited. They're giving up their power to this beast system. Babylon is like, look, I'm gonna die, but as long as I die and I can at least have some sort of, standing in this next iteration. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. And then they're gonna end up understanding. No, they're gonna be obliterated too. Yeah, and you're right, brother Calvin. It did backfire. Well, just shut up, dribble. You know, the only ones that aren't saying anything are the NBA players because they're mortified, and that's a shame. Because you want to know why? This is the time that they either stand up or they're going to be in everlasting shame and contempt. And the problem is, they're going to be in everlasting shame and contempt. And here's the thing: I'm going to tell you this: if they don't want to open their mouths when the deal goes down and they want to save themselves, stay here. For all those NFL players, for all those professional players, anybody that took that loves their cut here in Babylon, stay here when the fire comes. That's your reward. Enjoy it, because you're not going to enjoy when the Most High's people are back in the land. You will be the derision. You will be the proverb. Don't If you're not going to speak up now for the Most High, you never will. And because you won't, stay in your heaven, even when it costs you your life. No, I'm serious. Don't even go because I know they won't. They'll be too ashamed to. Well, I got no. If you couldn't stand up for him this hour, we don't need you. Stay here and perish. Stay here and perish in your ruins. This is what you want, right? You don't want to say nothing? Then live in nothing, because that's what the Most High declares. Live in the heats, live in the rubble, because that's what the Most High declares. When your $40 million of paper literally turns into the paper that you have to burn to stay warm, enjoy, because that's the reward. Yeah, no, and see that's the thing, and they know, they know, they absolutely would, but they know we wouldn't stand for that. That's the like you have to understand. We don't have that type of mentality like the Europeans. We don't have the Gentile mentality of that. No, we're going to get at you, and we won't do anything with you except for not mess with you. Well, what about this money? What about the? No, you get cut off. I don't think people understand what it really meant to be cut off. That means you don't give nothing to anybody to anyone that is cut off. You cut them off from the assembly. Cut off. Because if you aren't saying anything, then guess what? You're for them. If you're not speaking out against our enemies, then guess what? You are our enemy. You are our enemy. And if you're our enemy, then guess whose enemy you truly are? You're the Most High's enemy. So I pray that the Most High tears you up. Because if you're an enemy of us, you're an enemy of Him. And if you didn't understand, our enemies are not even able to enjoy a good, peaceful rest. They're getting messed up by seagulls. They're not even able to do what they used to do because now the Most High is literally tearing them up. I pray that He tears up all of our enemies that look like us. How did such and such go down? How did this happen? Because I hope they understand now. This boycott is actually in full effect. This boycott is going on. Yeah, I'm not going to order these shoes. Yeah, I'm not going to go for that brand. Nope. Yeah, you got to remember what's that lifetime looking like? People think that their lifetime is like it's going to be a lifetime. That lifetime isn't the exact lifetime that they thought it was going to look like. Because I'm telling you, when the deal goes down, it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap when the deal goes down. Think about all of our brothers and sisters that are there in the armed forces right now. When the deal goes down, it's a wrap. Yo, you're telling me I'm fighting for my enemies? That it, you got to understand the morale was already low. You understand what I'm saying? The morale was already low. Donald Trump exposed everyone and everybody. And it's the same under Biden. Pharaoh was already showing out. They know this. Why do you think that they can't meet their recruiting levels? Because we are saying no. I talk to my friends in the military all the time. All they're saying is, I have a few more months and I'm out of here. No one, especially mainly black folks, they're not trying to reenlist. They're not trying to extend anything. Bingo. Hey, Jamar, uh, you're not going to fight, man. Jabbar is going to run some blood on his face and say that he got hit. I'm injured. Where'd you get hit? Oh, somewhere. I'm just numb all over. You know, every one of us is going to be in sick bay. Medic! Yeah. What happened? Oh, I can't see all of a sudden. Who said that? Pharaoh's gonna be mad when the all of a sudden when the Israelites aren't fighting. When we put the Israelites on the front line, but the enemies aren't fighting the Israelites. They're just come on, Hakeem. What's up, man? Hakeem. Oh, you know what? You know what? I think I broke a toe. They know. I'm telling you, that's what they're afraid of. That's why you had to have a black Secretary of Defense. You had to have a Boule member. You had to have a sellout. That was the optics. If you didn't understand it, see, they're going to fight because they're going to see me and I'm going to tell them to fight. And see, they're going to fight wrong. Jeremiah 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them, for the custom of the people are in vain. For one man, or for one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth it appertain, for as much as among all the wise men of the nations and in all their kingdoms there is none like unto thee. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. It's foolishness. We've come to the nations of nations, the foolishness of fools. And this is what the word says. Silver spread in the plates is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz, the work of the workmen, and of the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing, and they are all the work of cunning men. But the Lord is the true God. He is a living God and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the winds, the wind out of his treasuries. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. Do you understand, family? We are getting ready to see that visitation happening. Their visitation is getting ready to come. Why? Because the Most High had to do what? When was the time of the visitation for Egypt, for the Egyptians? When the Most High had hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Do you understand how many times Pharaoh's heart has been hardened in this? This is it. If you don't want to know who we are, if you don't want to acknowledge who we are, then guess what? You have hardened your heart. Now you're preparing. You prepared yourself for that visitation. They prepared themselves for slaughter. Now we know the pieces. They're putting the pieces together. Jeremiah 10 and 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is a former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. We just covered this in Micah chapter 4 and 5. The Lord of hosts is his name, Yahuwah Sabaoth. Gather up thy wares out of the land, O inhabitant of the fortress. For thus saith the Lord, behold, I will sling out the inhabitants of the land at this once, and will distress them, that they may find it so. He said he's going to sling them out. He's going to shoot them out. He's going to toss them out. This is the word. They're thinking that the Most High is playing. He's not. What are we saying? Every time we speak, we're coming with the rod because that rod is the truth. They're getting broken on this truth that is this word. Jeremiah 10 and 19. Woe is me for my hurt. My wound is grievous, but I said, truly, this is a grief, and I must bear it. My tabernacle is spoiled, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. For there is none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. For the pastors are become brutish, and have not sought the Lord. Well, do you see? Do you understand? Do you see this? This awakening is their indictment. They have become brutish and they haven't sought the Lord. Therefore, they shall not prosper, and their flocks shall be scattered. This is what's happening. If you're not speaking the truth, this is what's happening. Jeremiah 10 and 22. Behold, the noise of the brute is come. and a great commotion out of the north country, to make the cities of Judah desolate and the den of dragons. The Most High always uses the countries out of the north. Now there's another country. And I'm going to say this here, the cities of Judah desolate. I'm going to say this here. In America, these cities were built by us. Don't let anybody take that away. These cities were built by us. This economy was built by us. Everything here. To make the cities desolate and a den of dragons. O Lord, I know the I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing. Pour out thy fury upon the heathen, that they that know thee not, and upon the families that call not on thy name. For they have eaten up Jacob and devoured him and consumed him and have made his habitation desolate. Ooh, ooh. So y'all talk about Jeremiah 10 like, oh, the Christmas tree, the Christmas tree. Hallelujah. Yes, yes, the Christmas tree. But man, it's more than that. This is getting ready to happen. Question is, how are you going to explain this to your neighbor? Aren't you scared? Don't aren't you panicked? No. Why? Because the Most High has me. Why? Because we've been on this. We've known this. We've understood this for quite some time. And now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're at this time. Now we're at this place. Now we're at this moment. This was the reckoning. People think that reckonings always have to be something so chaotic or so out of this world. But the thing is that that's not the case. He uses the simple to confound the wise. This is just something so simple. We're the people. Well, how can you be the people? How can you be this? How can you look? You either accept my testimony or you don't. But you know that we're the people. You know who you took. Well, they're saying that now until their source of life runs out, until bread runs out, until water runs out. You know, those things do tend to use electricity and fire and heating. But see, woe to these folks, they become brutish. They can't see. They can't understand. They're living like animals. Well, we're gonna always have our hay in front of us, right? We just need to eat the hay in front of us. That's brutish. The Most High doesn't want us living like animals. He wants us living like we have sense, like we have understanding. And if we don't have any sense or understanding, then who do we turn to for that? We turn to Him. So now, when all these things are happening, when everything is going on, now you understand how ignorant that is. I just want to. Everything will get better. Yada yada. Yada. Okay, that's what they're doing. Because now, do you understand the Most High showing them straight to their face? He's showing this thing straight to their faces. Yeah, but now the whole thing is they can't say that you're extreme now. Everybody was on these things. They say, "Oh, it's extreme. It's extreme." Well, now we have Russia and now we have China. How extreme do you want to get? No, these folks are ready to fight. How extreme do you want to get? Well, no, no, no. That's them saying it. That's the Russians saying, look, they're coming, family. Well, I don't believe it till they're on the front door. And then when they're shuffling, your family's on out. Do you believe me now? With their petrified looks on their faces. Do you believe us now? And the crazy thing is, we can't say that, oh, it's a not too, it's a far off future. Actually, it's not. Like I said, they're gonna let the World Cup play out. World Cup starts November 20th. They're gonna let it play out. But family again now is really this is the time because see this thing the way the Most High works, He works in a very logical order. It's a very logical order because see the debate with us, especially here in the U.S. with the Hebrews to Negroes thing, it is fever pitch. It's fever pitch. And see, you have to understand whenever they can't control the narrative, they go to violence. So, family, that's why I say you have to be careful. This is where we're at. Well, 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 don't worry about this. You don't need to worry about who you are. Why do you need to worry about who you are? See, you're just a Negro. And he did. And he did. That's why I said this thing has grown fever pitch. And the ADL was mad at him. This isn't going away. This is not getting swept under the rug. Everything that everything that they're seeing, this is their worst nightmare. Their worst nightmare is coming to pass. Somebody had on a meme. This is so ignorant but funny at the same time. They said, it said on the meme, it said, they getting mad at Kyrie like they found out that he could read. I said, dang. I said, wow. Yo, that's ignorant. So, they mad at Kyrie like they found out that he could read. I said, that's exactly what it's like. Like, who taught this Negro to read? Oh, boss, you can read balls. I like how you read balls. So you can read balls. These Negroes can read balls. I don't like it. They're jamming up my butter biscuits. I like my butter biscuit balls. They're gonna make them cold instead of warm balls. Oh man. Oh, that had me rolling. That had me rolling. He was reading those Hebrews to Negroes. What's there in that book? It's all about the cockamamie nonsense. Oh, we're gonna have these Negroes shooting the hoop and hooting and hollering and scoring them touchdowns, and we'll put our Negroes, our good sense Negroes, back in check. I don't know, boss. A lot of them suffering from that drapetomania. They're starting to see disillusion, boss. Oh, hallelujah! What a time! What a time! Because the more they go crazy about it, guess what it does? Our people just are naturally curious. We're gonna be like, "What is this? Oh, for real? Oh, for real? Hey, pastor, What about this? All I can say is don't watch the movie. Well, why? Well, it has all that stuff. What stuff? That's what they're facing today. We have some runaway slaves in the mind. They're beginning to run away in their minds, boss. They begin to read them books. You say here, a Negro that has his mind elsewhere is not a good Negro. Sorry, but you're understanding. Jacob is different. When you read Genesis chapter, excuse me, Jeremiah chapter 10, we're different. The portion of Jacob, we're different. We don't do that stuff. Look, let's see what's in here. And we'll mull over it and we'll look at it and we'll pray over it. Ooh, I got me a red lobster biscuit right here. Check out that garlic and cheese. Boss, they gonna got the red lobster cheddar bay biscuits up in here. Ooh, ooh. I'm about to do a jig for you right now, boss. Oh man, hallelujah. Not with a two-piece, not with a leg and thigh. Oh, you know I love them leg and thigh. Ooh. That we have gravy. Oh, you done made me happier than a hog in mud. I'm happier than a hog in slop. How many of our how many of our folks used to say that? He's happier than a pig in mud. Y'all know. Oh. No, we're not a brutish people. We're people that actually will look. Will see. We'll pay attention to things, and I think that's what they're definitely mad about. We're paying attention. We're waking up. 'Cause that's the truth, man. We used to just say all these things and didn't even realize, man, all these little anecdotes that we had about us, all these little sayings that we had, and just ignorance. But now we're starting to wake up. And now we're starting to understand we're the most high's people. It's not just saying it, it's actually living by it. So remember, all these folks that are saying all this, they don't want to look at reality. Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. What's the reality of it? See, it's really easy when you're in captivity. You understand when you you literally understand the slave mentality never went away. We may have gotten off the plantation, but the mentality never went away from our people. Isn't that crazy? That's literally where we're at. We're literally understanding this is slavery 2.0. Okay, whatever. They may not be on the plantation. This is still our land. So by default, they're still on the plantation. By default, they're still in the aquarium. It's a sad, sombering, sobering truth. See, it had to be the Most High that does this, because you understand, we didn't have the tools. We were not equipped with the tools to do this. He has to do it, and he will do it because, excuse me, because it's up to him. He's gonna get the honor, and he's gonna get the glory. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, I gotta get up on out of here. Most High will, and I'll be back on tomorrow. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Israel.